Hey everybody, it's Stacey with Pageantry Now. Welcome to our Sunday edition. Glad to be back in the saddle and starting to get back to doing some interviews, and we've got tons of them. I apologize to anybody that we had to reschedule just because I was still recuperating, but I'm so happy to be able to be here and bring you a new interview. We have Cierra Jackson on, who is Miss DC USA, and she's going to be talking all about her history with pageantry, and all of the things that she's looking forward to Miss USA. But before we do that, let's just talk a little bit about Pageantry Now and what we are all about. We are about the positivity in pageantry and being able to highlight the amazing things title holders are doing using a crown and a sash to be able to change their world. So often in social media, you only hear the bad things about pageants, or you hear, things that went wrong in a pageant the night before, or only you see is the crowning of somebody and you never really hear about what they do. So our job is to try to let you know what it's like to be a title holder and hear their stories from their own words in a much longer format. So if you've got questions, please ask them in the chat. If it's something that's pertinent to what we're talking about, I will ask the question. Please make sure you keep them PG-13 because we do have teenagers that watch the show, and we want to make sure that everything that they see is appropriate for them. And if you haven't already, please make sure you like us here on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube, because we do different interviews on all different formats, and you never know who you might see. So with that being said, let's get the show started. Here we go.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Oh, looking all gorgeous and glam. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Tell
I
us
just
who
got done with
you
the photo
are.
shoot with
Uh,
Reza. I don't know if you know of Resonation.
I certainly do, my friend. Reza is actually, well, I mean, unofficially, but officially part of the Pageantry Now family and the Pageantry Now team. So Reza has covered Miss Universe for us,
Hmm.
and his girlfriend Case is one of our correspondents as well. So it's such a small world. I
I
can't
know.
believe it.
Yeah, the pageantry role is super small.
Yeah. So introduce yourself to us. Tell us who you are.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Cierra Jackson. I am Miss District of Columbia, USA 2020.
Woo. And for anybody that follows Pageantry Now, you do know that I have a big heart for the DC girls. So thanks for coming on, Cierra, because you have no idea. I have love like there is no Deshauna and Kyra have become friends over the years, and I love everything that the representation of the DC affiliate has become for the Miss USA system. So no pressure there, right?
No, I mean, these are my pageant sisters. These are my sister queens more than anything. So I think we all are so proud to be in an amazing sisterhood. And we also love to continue that legacy of incredibly accomplished, educated, intelligent women. So I'm happy to be a part of it all.
Yeah, no, and and of course, and we'll talk a little bit about this as well. But Black Girl Magic happening again in DC. Look at that. I mean, I think everybody's all talking about it this year, and I'm like, hello, has no one been watching for the last couple of years? What's going on, man?
I
Like,
know.
uh,
Chocolate City. That's what DC is.
and I love it. I love it, and representation is so important. So tell me a little bit about why you got into this crazy game of pageantry, because I always tell everybody it's bananas. Like anybody that wants to subject themselves to this, that's nuts. So
Right. I mean, it's super tough, but I love it. Honestly, my mother actually put me in pageants when I was a lot younger, but I don't remember any of it. Like people are always like, "Oh, doesn't that help?" And I'm like, "Well, if you remember it, it might help," but I don't remember any of it at all. I was so young, but it wasn't until I got to college that I really chose pageantry for myself. I competed in a fraternity pageant at Morehouse College, which is the men's college across the street from Spelman College, which is an all-women school. One of the best choices I could have made in my life. I always say going to Spelman is like the top two choices, with Jesus being number one. Like,
and getting into Spelman is really hard.
yeah, it is, but it's I'm fourth in my family of 8 women. So we have a strong Spelman legacy, and I'm super proud to continue that in my family.
Now, like with with a legacy like that, do you guys automatically get preferential possibility of getting in, or no?
I don't know. Like I've never really asked anyone. Like there's not really Well, I mean, I say, who I know goes to Spelman and I say my relation to them, but I don't know if that gives me preferential treatment or not. I just know, like, you still have to have good grades. You still have to, because you could have a zillion people in your family who went to Spelman, but if your grades aren't good and your SAT scores aren't good,
I
you know,
agree. Yeah, I mean, you can't fake the numbers. The numbers are
right,
still the numbers no matter what. So,
right, exactly, exactly. So, I mean, but it's great. Like, I didn't even think it was going to happen that way. Like, I was number four, and then next thing you know, I had another cousin who went, and then another cousin who went, and before you know it, there are like eight of us. So it was fun to kind of be a part of that legacy. And then my Spelman sisters mean so much to me. I always say I don't know if I would have been able to compete in competitions with my naturally curly hair had it not been for my experience at Spelman, which taught me to love myself in a different way. Going to a women's college, I never thought I would go to a women's college. Going to a historically Black college and university, I didn't know that I was going to go to one. And, having a women's college and an HBCU together, just it changed my experience, and it really made me an even stronger woman than I ever thought I could have been. And it made me so much more confident to rock my curls.
ugh,
And I had a whole
love.
group of sisters who were rocking their curls too. So it was great.
So other than the ones when you were little and Morehouse, like, was that really the only thing that made you decide you wanted to do more pageants? Because
Yeah, well, actually, so I had done them when I was little. I knew it, I saw pictures, but it wasn't until I did that competition and I won as a freshman. I'd only been on campus for maybe 2, 3 months. And I was like, whoa, like that was quick. Maybe I'm actually good at this. Maybe I should give it another try. And there is a young lady who was in my Spanish class and she had a keychain on. So I don't know if you all know, but I competed previously at Miss America and the keychain said Miss America. And I asked her, how she competed, or just did she compete for the Miss America organization? She said no, the teen program. And I said, really, how'd you do that? She was like, I just went online. And I was like, really, is it that simple? And she's like, yeah. So I went online, I signed up for my first local, and I started in the Miss America organization. And then from there, I just in my first 4 pageants, I won my local on the last final day to qualify for the state competition, and then I made top 12 as a 18, 19-year old. So I felt like, hey, maybe I'm good at this. Maybe I should keep trying it. And after that, I had the pageant bug, and it's been, a straight shot ever since. It's just keep competing and keep, getting out there and having a good time. So I love it.
that's amazing. Like, and this particular class of Miss USA is a really interesting class because um oh god, who was I talking to? But there's like 20 something women that are in this class of USA that were America title holders.
Really, I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah, no, it's an astro, and I've got to say that is to me phenomenal because um for anybody's watching, like there was this history previously where Miss America and Miss USA, I don't even know who started it. It was I don't even, it was a social media thing, but it was like, oh, they don't like each other, and I was like,
Yeah,
hello, we all compete. Like, it's this is still something that's real life, and this the process is still very similar and very real.
yeah,
So it's a sisterhood whether you look at it and if you're in the same system or not. So it
yeah.
really bothered me. And then one of my favorite interviews was Kyra and Kara. So I had Kyra as Miss USA and Kara as Miss America together, and that to me was so wonderful. And then now seeing Chesley and Nia together, like,
Mhm.
and then it being everywhere. So seeing those kinds of relationships, I think, is so important.
Yeah, it's
And
amazing.
and it's a lot different. So America has a talent portion, but let's talk about USA and the areas of competition that you competed in and what you've been competing at Miss USA.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm a singer just for those who, wanted to know what my talent.
Ooh, vocalist.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and I also was a swimsuit winner at Miss America. So even though Miss America doesn't have the swimsuit competition, I'm super excited to compete in swimsuit at Miss USA.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, I always tell people my pageantry journey has actually evolved so much. When I first started, I was kind of nervous to compete in swimsuit, and I told my director, like can I do every phase but swimsuit? And at first I was so nervous. But then I got out there and I absolutely loved it. And I'm so happy that we have it now because I've never felt so confident. I've never been so proud to be able to show, how much I work out. And I'm a sporty girl, so I love sports. I box, I run, yoga, I do gauntlets, all type of different things. I just love to work out. So being able to have a space where I get to show this multifaceted person that I've invested into is a really cool thing. And I love that I get to be in swimsuit because it's just so much fun, and I feel so empowered as a woman competing in swimsuit.
I gotta tell you, because there, I mean, well, okay, you were with me at Miss Universe, so let's take this to
Yeah.
small world. Small world. How small is the world?
Hmm.
Uh, we both were at Miss USA, and I didn't. You had messaged me, and everything went wrong with me in Reno at Miss USA, so I didn't get an opportunity to respond. So I want you to know that it wasn't me being rude.
No worries.
I was in the hospital. So anyways, but but then we're at Miss Universe and we're both at preliminaries, and then you come up to me, you're like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hi," and then so we're both watching preliminaries. And Chesley comes out on stage, and I am like godsmacked because she looks
Amazing.
so amazing, like a body that I think most women would kill for.
Hmm.
And then she got criticized for being too athletic.
Hmm.
Like, I, I don't get it. So, you're a very athletic, very fit woman. Like, how did that make you feel? Like, you saw her.
Yeah. She looks amazing. And quite frankly, I think the trend that we're going to see at Miss USA is a lot more women with more six packs and more muscles because muscles are sexy, muscles are strong. And I think a lot of times people don't believe that women should have muscles
Right.
because they don't associate strength with femininity. And I think that's something that we're all challenging. And I think that's something that Chesley is certainly challenging, not being afraid to show her muscles on stage and not being afraid to say, like, hey, I work out. Hey, I'm super strong. I'm super fit. And I take care of my body. I think that's something that we need, and I think also people forget that it's not just about how you look on the outside, on the inside too. Like, it helps you with your mental clarity. I know, like, when I've competed in previous national competitions, I would not have been able to make it, I think, with the stress that I had and the title and the role, had I not also been working out every day. It helped me relieve a lot of that stress. It released endorphins. It made me happier. And I knew that if I was able to have the stamina to get in the gym every morning at 5 a.m. or whatever the case is, I knew the rest of my day was like a coast because I'd already done the hardest work at the beginning of the day.
Girl, move to Miami and help motivate me, please. Before in 2011, I was hit by a truck when I was training for a try on my bicycle. So I don't train anymore. But that mentality of like getting up first thing in the morning, getting your day started, getting that workout in, getting those good endorphins going. I miss it. I miss it so much, and it's so hard once you fall out of that place to get back into it. So I think it's phenomenal that you're taking that time because it really does kind of set your day up for everything else that happens.
Hmm. Yeah, it does. It makes you feel so much better. And I recommend working out to so many people. Like, I used to teach workout classes for kids in summer camp. So I love being able to help them stay engaged, and it helps you learn more. Like, it helps you get through your day, helps you take in more information. There's just so many benefits to it. I'm so happy that now I get to have that as a part of my preparation as I compete for Miss USA.
Yeah. So what is your typical day like? Because are you still in college? And
Oh no, no, I'm graduated. I'm
I was
happy.
gonna say, I was like, I think you're old enough to have graduated, but
Yes, I'm 27, so I'm
oh
this.
my gosh, so you're one of the older ones at Miss USA.
Yes, something about the last year of eligibility for me. I always really do well then. So I'm 27. My birthday is May 18th, so I'll be 28 in May. So who knows when Miss USA will be? But it's right around my birthday month, so that'll be.
There's a rumor, right?
What's the rumor?
The rumor is it's gonna be in July.
I heard that too, but I'm actually not upset about that because my
I'm
little
really happy about it, actually.
I was so nervous because my little brother graduates from high school on May 22nd. So I was like, I really hope that, my family can come to his graduation and then come out to see me at Miss USA. And I really didn't want them to overlap. So I'm actually kind of happy about that.
All right. So where do you want it to be? Where do you want Miss USA to be?
Well, at first I wanted it to be in Hawaii, but I know that it probably is going to be a stretch.
How has it ever? I don't think it's ever been in Hawaii, has it?
I think once, or Miss Universe was in Hawaii once, or something like that. But I would love for it to be in Hawaii, though I know it probably won't be. I would love for it to be in
Look at
DC.
your vision board behind you. Wait, move your head. Look at,
Yes,
I love that.
Miss Universe. Just a woman chilling, being in peace. I love that because peace is really important. And then just a lot of queens with their natural hair. Like I love. For me, there was a moment when I never could see myself competing in like national competitive competitions with naturally curly hair because at the time not many people around me were doing it, so I had to like flood my life with visions and images of women who are rocking their curly hair, and it helped me be more encouraged and inspired. So my Instagram account literally was just filled with natural hair influencers and people who are rocking their curls so that I know it's okay and I can normalize it and feel even better about rocking my hair too.
I know I interrupt you when you're talking about USA. I'm getting misty eyed right now because I am. I told you that I became friends with Deshauna during her reign. I was backstage with her during right after rehearsals for finals before she gave up her title,
Yeah.
and she and I were talking, and I said I heard that you had a really hard time with your final speech because she and I became friends because I'm a cancer survivor and her mom passed away shortly after her winning her title, but that was something she wanted, was to be able to show her mom that she could do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I heard it was hard. She goes, I'm not going to talk about it, but yes, it's hard. And she's like, just be ready for it. And I was like, okay. I cried when she walked out with her natural hair, and I got to see her be Deshauna,
Mm-hmm.
and then seeing her crown Kyra. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know to me, everyone is like, why do you get so emotional? I'm like, because I want real. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want fake title holders. I don't want someone pretending to be somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
How did that moment feel for you?
I mean, it was so great. So just to give a little bit more history, I at the time, if I'm not mistaken, so for people who don't know, I was Miss DC America in 2016, and at the
So you did compete at Miss America
yes,
on Miss America stage.
yes, I was the first woman to compete with an Afro at Miss America in 2016.
How did
So
I miss that? Oh my God, are you serious?
yeah, I'm super serious. Yeah, I was the first woman, and that's why it was so important for me to be able to have, these images. So, when I was, and also another thing people don't know is while I was Miss DC America, Deshauna was Miss
With
DC.
VCC USA.
So was Jasmine Jones. So was Kyra. I have pictures of myself and Kyra at different appearances as Miss DC America, Miss DC USA. And then kind of coming in the tail end, Ryan Richardson was, taking on Kyra's title. So, and Ryan did my makeup at Miss America. So there's this whole like DC sisterhood that kind of happened right around the same time. And I remember competing at Miss America, being the first woman to do it. So proud. I really just wanted people to just have an image of just any woman competing with naturally curly hair. And I knew at the time in September 2016, that hadn't been done on that stage
Right.
before. So when I was able to see my DC sisters doing it, as well the following year, it was just super incredible because I knew that like it's a part of a legacy, being able to kind of start that at Miss America, but also seeing it go in multiple different directions, whether it be at Miss America, Miss USA, Miss Universe, kind of being able to help blaze that trail for so many others was an extremely amazing moment. And I'm happy that, through the process of me competing with my hair, other women are also encouraged to compete with their naturally curly hair, especially those in DC, you know.
I love it.
Um, Being able to see that beautiful moment of Deshauna and Kyra being right there was really what I was so proud of and so happy for. I really wanted a moment where girls could see that curls are beautiful because so many times people will tell you natural hair is not glamorous or it's not beautiful or it's not professional or it's not corporate enough or whatever the case may be. And I wanted to shatter all of those beliefs that natural hair can be all those things. I worked in the White House with my naturally curly hair. I worked on Capitol Hill with my naturally curly hair. I compete at Miss America with my naturally curly hair, and I will compete at Miss USA with my naturally curly hair. So it can be glamorous, corporate, professional, all those different things.
And I've said this a couple of times. Like Imani Miss Washington and I talked about this too. Um, in my lifetime, I grew up in Detroit. So I was born in Motown when Motown was Motown. Um, and so when I was a little kid, I would pretend that I was a Jackson.
So you can be a part of the Jackson Five.
Well, I'm Janet and I are 15 days apart. Her birthday is May 15th, mine is June 1st, and we were both born in 66. So she's 16 days older than me, but
She's
like,
birthday's 3 days before mine.
yeah, I know. I was like, oh, Taurus lady. My husband's is the 14th, so that's I mean, but excuse me. I grew up with natural hair being what I loved and what I saw, and Diana Ross, and just and the 70s, and everything being natural and beautiful, and these afros that were just like, I mean, I know it's work, but it was stunning to me.
Mhm.
And I don't know why that image changed.
Yeah. I mean, more than anything, sometimes people want to assimilate. And I think that's what happens when sometimes people push more European standards of beauty than others. And for
Right.
me, it's not just about pushing any type of standard of beauty. I want people to push the standard of beauty or to represent and celebrate the standard of beauty that works for them.
Right.
Right. So I'm an African American woman. I want to promote and celebrate African American standards of beauty. If there's a Latina woman, I want her to promote and celebrate Latina standards of beauty. If there's an Asian woman, I want her to promote and celebrate Asian standards of beauty. I think it makes sense for women who are of a particular cultural background to be able to support and promote and celebrate their own cultural standard of beauty and not someone else's.
No, and I agree. So Joan just came on. She's in Manila.
Mhm.
We've got tons of Filipino followers. Mabuhay Joan, thanks for being here. She says good morning from Manila to Miss Dissy and Miss Stacy. So thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then one of our longtime crownies, Kenzie, is on. She will ask the hard questions when she's not at that point yet, but she will ask questions that I just, as a title holder, I go, oh my God, where did you get that? She has a book full of them. So
Yes, I'm going live too on Instagram. So I have some people who are coming and saying hi.
hi.
And just all types of different places here. So this is exciting and a lot of questions too. So
Well, feel if you've got questions that people are asking, then go ahead and answer them if you want to. It's fine.
yeah, sure. I mean, one of the questions that I get a lot is, what is the difference to you between competing at Miss America and versus competing at Miss USA? And I haven't competed at Miss USA yet, but I have found, a lot of different differences as I've progressed into the process. One of the things that I love about USA is that there's a lot more freedom. You kind of get to do a little bit more of what you want. And I appreciate being guided as well. It's great to kind of have a team to kind of help you out, but also like the freedom to be able to express yourself in different ways and to kind of help choose your team. I love that part too. And I love, a lot of the different cultural experiences. I love that they're very welcoming of people of different cultures and ethnicities. And I also love that it's very fashion forward as
Yeah.
well. And a lot of the women are more mature, kind of that whole career oriented type of vibe. So I appreciate that. But I will say one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of compete for or to compete for Miss USA to answer your question from a little bit earlier is because I always saw women who were competing at Miss America and Miss USA. And I thought to myself, what kind of incredible woman would you be to be able to compete at both?
I
Like, what
agree.
talents and skills would you have to excel at to be able to win and do well on both stages? And I thought, like, whatever woman could be comprised of all of those talents and skills, she would be like insane, like she would be incredible. So I felt like that's something that I want to do. I wanted to challenge myself to be able to compete on both stages and to be able to be that woman who had the intelligence, the skill, the sexiness, the talent, the fitness, all those different things in one person. And I love that both organizations champion two different things, but they still create a very powerful, professional, career oriented, strong woman.
I love it. And I'm watching you and I'm listening to you speak. Please don't take this as an insult in any way, shape, or form. You, right now, the way they styled you, you look like Janet Jackson.
Thank you.
Which
He's
she
my
is my,
twin sister.
like, if I could have that, when people ask me that question, who would you like to be able to hang out with? I'm like, if I could spend just one afternoon with her, I think that would be the most phenomenal, because she is so empowered, and I think that she really stands for so much that we take for granted in our country, just about the African American experience. And even though she was raised in this very different world, I
Mhm.
think she really has had those same life experiences that we all go through, and her music talks about that. So you're a vocalist. So, like, what kind of music do you like?
I love a little bit of everything. I'm classically trained, so I can sing opera,
Ooh,
but I love gospel, I love R&B, I love neo soul, I love jazz, I love musical theater. I just love a little bit of everything, you know?
that's awesome. See, I think that's, and I think as a true artist, then you feel music, and it's whatever you feel. It isn't a specific style. You'll feel it, right?
Yeah, and it makes people move. It makes you be able to communicate with people in a different way, to feel emotion in a different way. You know, music, if you hear someone and you're out, on the street or whatnot, and you hear someone singing, it immediately makes you stop. And I'm so grateful because my instrument is within my body. Like some people have a tuba, some people, like my little brother plays tuba, right? And he carries this big tuba around, but I get to have my
Goodness.
instrument. I know, and he plays it at my grandmother's house, and I'm like, I'm sure the neighbors can hear you blowing like your tuba or playing your tuba so loud. But I'm proud of him, and he's gonna be a great musician. But being even from a family that kind of has a lot of different musicians, and some who have really been big in gospel, that's really great and fun. And being able to sing together is always really fun. So I love being able to be blessed with a talent, and that being singing, because you can just really kind of connect with anyone from anywhere, and people from all over the world love to sing.
That's true. So true. Oh my gosh, like, okay, this is going to take longer than 45 minutes. I'm just warning you now. Okay, there are a million things in my head, but let's go back to Miss Universe a little bit. Um
Mm-hmm.
so the moment when I was in the media room, and I
Mm-hmm.
realized that, first of all, love Zosie, and I was like, slay all the way. But the
Mm-hmm.
moment when I realized that Miss Teen USA, Miss USA, and Miss Universe, and I was the first one in the media room to realize it, and everybody looked at me and they went, "What?" Because I was going to ask the question to Zosie, "How does that feel representing
Yeah.
and being that legacy that is now for the rest of eternity?" Oh, see, I'm getting goosebumps again. I started crying. How did that make you feel?
I knew that it was a possibility, and I think when you can see like a trend, like um when the Team USA title holders had won back to back, you can see that that's a possibility. I think it's, as a woman of color, when you see that there's a potential, you're already kind of like clocking it, like, okay,
Could it?
can she
Could
win?
it?
Or
Could it?
exactly. And then when Zosie won South Africa, I know of the history of South Africa and the apartheid and how all that kind of came to be, and seeing her being a dark skinned woman with naturally curly hair winning Miss South Africa. I already knew she had a lot of talent and skill just to do that alone, So I knew she was probably had to be extremely well spoken. I knew she probably had to be very personable, very eloquent, all those different things in order to win that title alone. So by the time she made it to Miss Universe, I was like, oh, she's definitely got what it takes to be Miss Universe. It's just a matter of if they're open or wanting that this year.
Right.
Then when she started doing well and she slayed every phase of competition,
Mm.
literally, I feel like she got tens in every, phase. And I was like, okay, this is a possibility. She was on topic. She had great points. Everything she spoke about was very pertinent and important and timely. So when it happened, I just was really grateful because we have so much to look forward to. And I think so many young girls are going to be so inspired by them. And more than anything, I think we realize that a lot of times people are, upset sometimes. They're like, well, why can this happen? Everyone's not always a fan of Black Girl Magic.
And
But
that's a pushback that we're getting too. So that's something I want to talk about too, because
yeah,
there are
but
people. I mean, I know Deshauna got hate mail. I know Zosie. I mean, I know that. So Okay, go. Sorry.
I think more than anything, it's just like you can't listen to that, and you have to just be grateful because there's been so many years where it's never been Black girl magic, right? And it's been somebody else's magic, right? And we've been patiently
It's been
waiting for
Barbie's magic. We've been waiting for not to be Barbie magic.
or whatever, yes, whatever you want to call it, and like even Barbie's trying to diversify, you know what I mean? But like
Yes,
there's
thank you.
right, because there's so many different ethnicities, and we have, seen that time after time again. And a lot of times we had to wait for years, for different competitions to say this is the year that a Black woman will be able to see that her beauty is also seen as beautiful or deemed as equally beautiful as anyone else's,
Right.
you know, or that with natural hair, or that with a darker complexion, or whatever the case may be. So seeing that happen changed so many young girls' perspectives. And I am so grateful because I remember when I saw my first Black beauty queen crowned, and I know what that meant for me. So now seeing that they'll see Zoe, they'll see Chesley, they'll see Kaylee, they'll see so many. And the fact that we're normalizing this makes people realize how incredible it is. I don't know if people are noticing this, but when Chesley was crowned, you got to see a lot of more international queens crowning women of biracial or multi-ethnic
Right.
backgrounds. And with Zoe, you'll see even more of that. And I think we're realizing that women of color exist in every country, whether you're in
Thank you.
Ireland or Iceland or the Dominican Republic or, the USA or, Canada, who
Look
knows?
at
Like,
Fig from Ireland. Beautiful, like, and gorgeous, and rocking her afro the entire time.
and we competed last year at Miss DC USA together.
Yeah. Oh, you.
So
So you
it's
know Fig? Oh my God, she's amazing, girl.
yeah, we're so proud. Like, I love women who are able to just go out there and, give their all to their dreams and be passionate about it. And I commend her so much for being, true to herself, true to her heritage, and being the first biracial woman to be Miss Ireland. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But I think like that is the byproduct of being able to see like this trail being blazed, and it's been happening for a long time. But now the pageant world is finally being able to see that our queens are being able to break through those barriers, and we're able to see what it looks like to have these women who oftentimes have been held back for so long to
Right.
have the opportunity, a fair opportunity, to be able to lead and to reign with grace. And I'm so proud of every single one of them.
Well, and the very first biracial Miss Universe is from the United States, Chelsea Smith.
Yes, I love her. I
Oh,
before she passed, I had the opportunity to speak with her and meet her. And I love, one of the things she told me that I always will remember is like, you always bring more people together by letting them know that we have more similarities than we do differences. And
yeah.
that is so true. Race is a construct, but there are differences in ethnicities and where we come from. But just because we come from a different place doesn't mean that there aren't things that we have that are in common. And being able to find, what yourself and the next person has in common is going to make you so much more of a well-rounded person, a loving person, a caring person, and a better person. I am a military kid and I grew up from all over the world, and it has changed my experience. But because I've lived in all different types of places, I was born in Kentucky, raised in Georgia, lived in Camp Casey, South Korea,
Oh,
and then
wow.
I've had, yeah, I have a little bit of everything. So, and I'm so proud of it. Like, I've picked up a little bit of Korean. If we have any Korean followers, annyeonghaseyo.
K-pop for the
Um,
win, babe.
but yeah, like I love being able to just to be from a different place, but also being able to meet people from different places, and I love being able to connect with everyone.
So, when you won DC the second time, did you did in your brain did you think, okay, this is okay, let's go back to again to Miss Universe. Did when we talked about this before we went live. You could be on that Miss Universe stage. So I could be interviewing next year you in December or January as the next Miss Universe.
Right?
Like, girl,
Yeah, I know.
How does that feel? Has that all sunk in yet, or is that even part of the dream? Is it just being on the Miss USA stage?
No, I mean, of course, Miss Universe. As you can see, it's on my vision board
I
too.
know. I was like, hey, there she is.
Yeah, it would be incredible to compete for Miss Universe and to win Miss Universe, and I think that being able to bring so many different aspects of who I am as a global woman to a stage that is so global like Miss Universe would be a dream come true, but also an opportunity that I would be so blessed and grateful to have. Because I'll be able to encourage so many women from across the world to be unapologetic, to be bold, to be a trailblazer, to be a powerful woman. I come from a background of politics, and I've worked in, like I said, in the White House, on Capitol
Yeah,
Hill.
let's
I
talk about this. Like, tell me about what are you gonna do? Like, what's your platform and why were you in the White? Tell me, talk. Oh my God, this is gonna take forever. We're gonna.
yes,
You've
so
got a story.
I
I want to
graduated.
hear it.
Yes, I graduated from Spelman College in 2014 with a degree in political science and a concentration in American institutions and processes. So I studied literally Congress, I studied the White House, the Supreme Court, just literally how everything in our country was able to function and why it was created. After that, I went to the Women's Campaign School at Yale University and came out in 2015. And that was an amazing experience because we helped and trained and learned how to encourage other women to run for office and to support them in their run for office. And that was incredible. And then shortly after that, I came to DC in 2015 through a program called Running Start that encourages young women to run for political office. And through that process, they literally gave me a job, a stipend, a place to stay. And I worked for a female member of Congress. I was mentored by that female member of Congress, and I had leadership classes on Friday. So I literally had a running start into politics. And I worked for Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, who's running for president. And she's one of only two female combat veterans in Congress with Congresswoman or Tammy Duckworth, I think is now a senator.
Yes.
And it was just, yes. and and then shortly after that,
I gotta
I told
warn you,
myself, and
my
this was,
husband is gonna come in here in just a second and start asking you questions because he is
oh sure,
hugely political. Okay,
oh great,
continue.
I love.
Yeah, we were up until 4 o'clock in the morning debating the Democratic debate. Well, not even the Democratic debates, just talking about what happened with the primaries. And he is had very strong affinity to one candidate, and I have told him that as much as I believe that that candidate could be fantastic, I don't think it's a realistic expectation. And we will say that that person has run before, and we'll leave it at that. So,
Yeah.
but that was a very long discussion. Okay, so do you really want to go into politics?
Yeah, one day I'll run for office. I don't know when. I don't know where I will select or what office I'll run for. But right now, my goal is just to be able to work on as many campaigns as possible and as many different compartments or departments of a campaign, and see what I like the most. And I feel like if I'm able to work on a campaign, I'll be able to run a campaign,
I
and
agree.
I'll be able to, right, and also be able to work in different administrations, and that'll be able to help me one day run my own administration. So I'm super excited to one day run for office.
All right. So I have said it many times, and actually the first time that I said it to Catriona kind of got a little shocked because I don't think it occurred to her, and I asked Sozie as well, and I don't think that the the title of Miss Universe has got to be one of the most important titles that is not respected quite as much as it should be, because you become an immediate global ambassador, and you come in contact in a very rare opportunity to be with the highest ranking individuals in a country when you visit, as well as
Mm-hmm.
visit the lowest people that are impoverished and in most in need.
Right.
How would you do that job?
I think it would be incredible. And I feel that because I would be able to respect so many different aspects of it because I understand so many different aspects of it. My goal this year is to encourage women to redefine what it means to look like a politician or a representative of a country or a global representative, and to encourage young women and girls to lead with a servant's heart. And I say that because as a politician, I'm a public servant. I
Yes.
serve my constituency. I serve those who have associated with me in some way geographically. And I want to be able to know every single person in my country, in the world. And I consider myself a global citizen, so I want to know every single person, what they struggle with, and how I can legislate or create laws or facilitate conversations that are going to help them have a better quality of life. So being able to go to maybe the slums of a particular country and speak to
Right.
those children in those schools and see what they need. And at the same day, being able to go to the leadership of that country and speak to them about what I've seen and what they could do to make a difference in their community would be so important and so pivotal. But that's exactly what I would do with the title of Miss Universe. And it would be something that I think so many people will be able to benefit from, because that title would not just be for me, but it would be for so many others.
Well, and I really think that the title of Miss DC is the same when you have, even though in any title that you have is the same because you're either representing an area, even if it's locally, a city title or a state title. But in DC, where government happens for our country,
Mhm.
and to have such an economic discrepancy in DC
Mhm.
between the wealthy and the people that are at risk and in need. How how did that feel the first time, and then again now, representing an area that really has that that situation going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that a lot of people are trying to work on, but I also feel like, and it's probably very complicated as well. I wish that that process could be expedited,
I agree.
but you kind of have to work with the process of how things go politically. But I think that that's true, in our nation's capital, but I think that's also true in our nation and across the world. There's so many places where there is a select group of people who are granted wealth and granted um, a quality of life, that food, shelter, clothing, access to resources, education, um, clean water, clean air, even environmentally. I always say that people think that, racism, sexism, all these different isms are gone. But when we look at our
No.
environment, otherwise, people who are of darker complexion suffer more across the world. Women still struggle in ways that we shouldn't struggle in 2020, literally. People from all different types of classes have different lifestyles than those who are able to afford different things.
Right.
And it's unfortunate that people who have more money and more connections are afforded a better quality of life. And that's something that we certainly should change. And my goal as Miss DC USA, Miss USA, and Miss Universe would be to be able to help create leaders in their community from wherever they sit, from wherever they stand, to be able to advocate for these issues, because I can't do it all, but I can encourage someone else who will.
Right.
Mhm.
But you can be the drop in the ocean that becomes the wave of change.
That's right.
And it does happen that way. And if you look at it, we have a 16-year-old that has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize
Better, yes.
because she is using her voice in a way that people are listening. So one person can make a difference.
Mhm.
Um, Kenzie's got a question for you, but I'm going to ask Kenzie's question that she asks often because I think it's appropriate. If you
Mhm.
were to become the president of the United States today, what would you do to change our country? First thing.
First thing, I definitely would want to be able to create a way where people, no matter what their background was or socioeconomic background was, they would still be able to have a lot of the same resources and access to education. I think education is the one thing that can really set us apart. And a lot of people can't afford college. And they can't, and there are still so many first generation college students. And I think that that shouldn't be something that's occurring in 2020. There should be more students who are able to have the ability to learn on a collegiate level for their family, for their communities, and how that can change the trajectory of legacies of people.
Right.
So I would certainly do something to kind of break down how much we charge for college in the first place. And then in addition to that, I would want to be able to create some component within our government that would allow people to have access to housing, jobs, and also just food. I think that we have certain forms of that, but it doesn't always
It's
reach
not enough.
everyone. We still have people, right? We still have people who are homeless. We still have people who are hungry. We still have people who don't have clothes on their backs for a multitude of reasons. And because those reasons are so varied, that's why it's important to have people from all different communities serving and leading. But I certainly would want to create some type of national component that would allow everyone to be able to come and utilize those resources in a way that would help them.
Yeah, Mike and I, my husband and I were talking last night, and he's like, "We're the richest country in the world," and I'm like, "We are not. The
Mm-hmm.
people of the United States are the richest. We're the people are the richest people in the world." But our
Mm-hmm.
government has the biggest deficit, and we are not the wealthiest country in the world. And we should be based on what the amount of money that the people individually make here. And the
Yeah.
inadequacies are so wrong. They're so wrong. It really shouldn't. If we are going, well, I'm going to go down this line. If we are going to grow as a country, we really need to start making sure that we are taking care of our people, and we're
Right.
not. And that scares me. You know,
Right.
in my lifetime, when I was in high school, community college was free.
Mm-hmm.
How did it become that people are $200,000 in debt from 4 years of college at a state college?
Right.
And
It's
and and
insane.
it's crazy. Like when I got accepted to Harvard, and I thought $20,000 for a semester was like exorbitant, and I was like, "There's no way. Why am I going to put myself in debt for that?"
Right.
And
Right. It's true.
it's crazy. Like, and we shouldn't have that happening. Education is such an important part of being able to make our country stronger, and yet we are putting our people at a, like, our country's at a deficit, we're putting our people at a deficit.
Right. And then when they graduate, they can't find jobs and all different types of things.
Yeah,
And I think
they're
it's
working
very
at Burger King. Like, what is that? You've got a 4-year degree and you can't get a job, and you're
it's
getting
crazy.
$7 an hour because that's the minimum wage in the United States.
Right.
Can
Right.
I mean, I
Right.
know DC's more, because DC is 15 an hour, right?
Right. And it's insane. It's insane how much people are going into debt for college. I mean, I think that there's so many more things that can be done with that. Like I have friends who are all over the world and they don't pay that much for school. And a lot of it, kind of comes with high school. So it's crazy to me that we still are charging this much. And I also think it's crazy that banks will be quicker to give you a $40,000 student loan before they
Right.
give you a $10,000 business loan. And I also encourage entrepreneurship because I know that a lot of times you have to be able to create jobs for yourself to sustain yourself.
Right.
I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My mother is a dentist and has her own practice. And we also share a business called Cierra's Corner that I have with her, a women and children's boutique where we do pageant wear, evening wear, all that good jazz. But
Oh,
I
girl, I come into
encourage,
DC so you can dress me.
yes, we have all types of things. It's going to be online, so definitely stay tuned for this year, March 2020. I'll be launching all of our digital platforms, so you can just get it from right there in Florida.
Who you gonna carry?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I
I,
love it. I
I
mean,
I
for
don't
me,
always talk about stuff like that, but I have my favorite designers, and so I'm always like, okay,
mhm.
but
Yes, yes, yes. But yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, I appreciate the fact that my mother instilled in me the desire to be an entrepreneur, right? And I believe it's so important because a lot of times we have to work for other people, and within our own families, within our own communities, we don't
right,
build wealth. Right. So a lot of times we work from paycheck to paycheck. We don't have any type of disposable income. If something bad were to happen tomorrow, we would have no funds to be able to allocate for that particular thing. So I don't always just teach women or whomever to be leaders in their community, but I also want them to be fiscally responsible as well. And I believe in order to be a great politician, you need to be able to know how to lead a business
yeah.
because really your pain is a
You're
business.
working a
Your
business
administration
as a politician. You are in charge of the business of the area that you represent.
of your government, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're the chief executive
Right.
officer of your
Exactly.
government, your mayor or governor or even possibly a president or a congress member. So those are all super important skills that anyone could have or needs to have in their life. And I think we should teach entrepreneurship in schools even more than we do now, because it helps us not be so reliant on others and allows us to be leaders in different ways.
So let's talk. I mean, I know this is crazy. I don't usually talk about politics, and I say that, and then I've had very political discussions with a couple of the Miss USA delegates that I've been online with. Um, but just because it's pertinent to, I think, what's going on in our country right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we can viably find a way to correct the chasm that has happened in this country politically?
I think it is, but I think we're really going to have to see that we have more similarities than we do differences. And I know that sounds super hard, but I've had a couple different experiences in my life.
Oh, did I
I lived
lost
in
you?
a house when I first moved to DC. I lived in a house. There were 9 of us, all
Oh,
women.
wow.
Half of us were Democrats, half of us were Republicans, and there was one independent. And we lived in one house on Capitol Hill. And I'm
Wow.
right. Right. And I am sure that so many people felt that we would argue about politics, right? That we would, just be up in arms all the time. But the reality is that we weren't that at all. The reality is that we thought about the bathroom or the kitchen or something like that. And
So
that
that's real life.
process, right? And I realized through that experience that, especially when, kind of being raised in Georgia and then moving to DC, a lot of the times in the South, political lines are race lines. If you're
Yes.
one race, you're this political party. If you're another race, you're the other. But having that experience and then moving to DC, having this completely different experience and moving further north and feeling what that felt like, it made me realize that you can really work with anyone, and it doesn't matter what color they are, it doesn't matter what ethnicity, what gender they are. They could be purple, like it doesn't matter, but you can still be able to find some similarities about issues that are important to you, how you can come to a middle ground with whatever the issue is, and be able to work together. And I think that that's something that is still possible, even though it seems like it's so far away. And I think that we have to look at the ability of us being similar to one another, seeing that there are a lot of some of the same issues, no matter what corner of the United States you're a part of, no matter what side of the globe you're a part of or you're from. And I think that's what's really gonna help. But we're gonna have to
We're going
talk
to
to
have
people who
to.
we didn't. We're gonna have to talk to people who we didn't think we were friends with, who our first impression of them did not seem like they would be our friend. And I say that because I was Crown Miss DC USA in Richmond, Virginia, on the same day that there was a gun rally, right? And right, right. And
But yeah.
I walked out of my hotel room, and a lady who had the gun rally sticker on walked up to me and she said, "Hey, did you just win?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Congratulations." And she gave me a hug. And I realized even in that moment, whatever our political views are, no matter how we feel or what we might think someone is on the spectrum or what they may feel like I might be on the spectrum, none of that really matters. She was just as interested in me winning that night before, as I was in, being grateful to be in the role. So I think we really underestimate people, and we really don't really judge them too soon. And the
Right.
more we get to have real honest conversations with people that we never would talk to initially, the sooner we're going to be able to bridge that divide and have some really great friends and people that we can call on and count on and support in their endeavors and their political views just as much as they would possibly support us.
Will you come to Miami?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Well, and the only reason I ask you, again, I'm putting my stuff into this and I apologize. I own a gymnastics company. 3 years ago, my husband and I made a very big decision to put our gymnastics facility inside of a historically African American neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
in a park that was historically African. I actually built because people in the neighborhood could not go to swim in the pools because the pools were segregated, so they weren't allowed to learn to swim. So they actually raised money to build a pool so that people in the neighborhood would have a place to swim.
Right.
and I live in a part of Miami that is super wealthy on one side of the street and then not wealthy on the other side. And literally, it is across the divide of a street. And we're
Wow.
not talking a big street. We're talking I can walk. It's it's just two lanes.
Hmm.
And we offered programming immediately to any of the kids that belonged to the facility for free, and the kids that came at a very very discounted rate, so everyone had the opportunity to have gymnastics,
Hmm.
because historically that has always been a traditionally white sport until Dominique Dawes and then now Simone Biles.
Right.
Um, but it bothered me. It bothered me that kids didn't have those opportunities that they should have had, all kids. So we
Hmm.
took a risk, and we got slammed for it. People would be like, "We're not going to that park. We're not going over there. We're not doing that." I'm like, "Fine, you don't have to. I don't care. You don't have to be here. We don't
Right.
want you here. We want people here that are going to see people, not color."
Right.
I'm so proud to say that now we are busting at the seams and we have no space for any more kids. The park
Wow.
is flourishing. People are there. It's all colors, all people from all over the world. We have some classes that only speak French. We have some classes that only speak Portuguese. We have classes that speak Spanish, English, Japanese, Chinese. Like, it's crazy.
Mhm.
And I'm so proud of this. But one of the bigger moments for me was a year and a half or 2 years ago. Miss Mauritius came to visit because I was working with the Miss Mauritius Universe group. I still do.
Mhm.
Um, and one of the girls that had been with me grabbed me and she goes, "Miss Stacy?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "I thank you so much for bringing her. I didn't know that a beauty queen could have skin that was the color of mine."
Mhm.
And it hurt me that these girls don't have a role model that they could look up to. And then I was like, "But you don't understand. I know Deshauna," and but they hadn't seen somebody up close and real. And Kyra and I have talked about it. I'm trying to get Kyra to come down and bring her STEM program during the summer so these girls can not only see a strong, powerful African American woman, but also a strong, powerful African American woman that is in STEM, so they can be
Right.
inspired. But if you are ever down here for a Best Buddies event, I please would love for you to come and speak to these young ladies because they need it. They need your strength. They need your love. They need the representation. They need to know that they can achieve anything if they want to be president, that they have that opportunity. I mean, that to me, in this neighborhood, we had one of the biggest places for President Obama when he was running, and I lived in the building that his office was in, and I was so proud of that.
Yeah.
And I, I'm just, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for women like you that are taking risks and being more, because we need that. So thank you so much for. But
Yes, of course.
seriously, if you ever, and I mean that honestly, if you're ever down here, please let me know, because I will hook you up, because I want these girls to see you. I want them to meet you. I want them to know what it can be like. You
Yes, I
know.
would love that. And I would love to meet them. And I love one of the things you said a little bit earlier about President Obama. There's this picture of him, a little boy touching his head because he asked the president, can I touch the top of your head? Because he just wanted to see if he was real. One of the things I say about achieving your goals is you need two things: persistence and proximity, right? You need persistence to be able to keep pushing forward, even when it seems like it's going to be really tough. And you need proximity, because the more you can see people around you who are doing what you want to do, the more achievable it is for you to be able to do it.
Right.
Why, when you see title holders who are going to Miss USA and Miss Universe, it's not just because they just want to go and take cute pictures. It's because it helps you see your goals as something that you can achieve when you're able to actually be there, be in a seat, be able to touch a queen, be able to talk to a queen, be able
Right.
to possibly meet Miss USA or Miss Universe. That changes the reality of how real this dream could be for you. It doesn't make it something that is hard to reach. It makes it achievable and right there where you can put your hands on it. And I think that, if you ever have a dream, no matter what it is, whether it's pageants or something else, try to get as close as you can to that dream. There's a quote or a saying that says, if you're around five billionaires, you'll be the sixth. And the reality is, it's kind of
It's true.
true. The more you hang around people who are like those that you want to be like, the sooner you'll be able to pick up habits and different types of things that'll help you, and skills that will help you be able to be a billionaire, be able to know how to budget well, be able to know how to build a business from the ground up, know how to hire the right talent. Like all those
Right.
things are required, but you have to put yourself in the room, no matter what that is in your life, no matter what that dream is for you. Put yourself in the room. It's going to change the trajectory of your life.
No, I love that. We in Coconut Grove, we had the very first black millionaire and the very first male and female in
Mm-hmm.
the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, because Miami, whether I don't know if everybody knows it, Miami was settled and built by Bahamian, like the people that physically built Miami is where my gymnasium is. These
Mm-hmm.
families came over from the Bahamas and built all of Miami. Miami wouldn't be here without these families. It was literally built on the backs of these people. And these families are all still living here. And these are the kids that, I mean, they're my history. I mean, not that, I mean, I'm from Detroit, like I said originally, but I can't imagine. It just boggles my mind, like why we don't give more love, like we don't give more opportunities. So, which
Mm-hmm.
is why my husband he's run for office already one time here and lost, but he's running
Oh, wow.
again. And I've run for office, but not here. I
I love that. So you're just a political couple over there.
yeah, I like, I want change, but I don't know that I want to be the person behind the change. I don't want to be the face person of it. So if that makes sense. I found
Yes.
out when I ran that I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I do want to be that person making those decisions. But I've learned
Yeah.
when Mike didn't win 4 years ago, we became really good friends with the person that did win through that process. And now, we still are very much part of that backside of that, but Mike wants to do it again. So if he wants to do it, I'll support him. It's fine. Because
I mean, a lot of
he
it's
is
important.
he's a Bernie guy. He wants big change. So I've said it. So now you know.
But no matter what, no matter what, office you're running for, it's important to run. A lot of times we talk about, women running for office, and a lot of times women have not lost as many races as sometimes men have because they're so overqualified. A lot of times we deal with imposter syndrome, and we don't even run or apply to the job or the school because we feel like,
Right.
maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I need to have my life set up a certain way, or maybe I should have more accolades on my, resume, or whatever the case may be. But the reality is, women are always more prepared. We're more prepared for a lot of things that we do.
Because
And
we
the more we
multitask better
run,
and we can
well,
communicate better.
we're the project managers of almost every family we're a part of. We're managing our husband, our wife, no matter what your sexual orientation is. We're our kids, our elders, our grandparents, mothers, whoever, fathers. We're managing so many different things, and if something happens, it comes back to us. So because we have that background in our personal family units, when we bring that to politics, we succeed. We bring that to government, we change the world. So I think that seeing people like your husband or whoever continue to run, continue to be persistent in running and making a change, the sooner they're going to be able to be elected. I feel that way about everything I do, whether it's pageants, whether it's politics. I lost way more pageants than I ever won, but you have to be
But you
persistent.
have to. That's
And
the only way you're going to learn about the process too, is by losing. Those negative moments are learning opportunities to teach you where your strengths and your weaknesses are, and that's how you become a better person. And I think that's super important. I mean, I know
yeah,
for me, yeah, you have to
you have to
lose.
lose like one day you'll win like a champ. And I say that because there was a great Olympian. I can't remember who it was, if it was Armstrong or Ali, but they essentially said like I was an Olympic gold medalist before I ever got the medal, because it's here. You have to believe
In
that
your head.
you're a gold medalist. Believe that you're Miss Universe, Miss USA. You have to know that within you, and then when you're able to say, okay, I know that I'm this, and when the time comes for me to compete for this, I already feel that way, already exude that and I attract it into my universe. So I think that about everything, politics, pageants, all that.
Who's the person you look up to most in pageantry?
For me, oh my goodness, there's so many. But
No
I
pressure.
love Chelsea. What do you say?
No pressure.
But yeah, I love.
Chelsea and I were friends, by the way. So I when you mentioned that you met her as well,
She's one of my favorites, and I met her virtually, but she took the time to speak with me and just, is an incredible woman. And I love how she was able to bring people together. And she's one of those people that you just always like truly appreciate. And I think there's so many other like our current queens, like the trio is just like the best, you know. And I love it because they're just so powerful, so educated, so well spoken. Like every single one of them is like well spoken.
yes,
And I love being able to have people who are able to communicate their thoughts well and reach people, because communicating is a language how and what you use to reach everyone. So being able to have that in our title holders is just a dream. And then also, I mean, there's so many in the DC USA sisterhood is Sarah Elizabeth Langford Reed. She's my big sister. I love her because she was also Miss DC America and then became Miss DC
right.
USA. And I just appreciate her. She, lives in Georgia, and I was the former first lady of Atlanta, and just a lot of great things, that she's done. But she's one of those people who I mentioned about proximity. Being around her made me believe
Made
in
you
my life.
believe.
I also feel too.
So when you were at Miss America, Savannah won or Betty?
Savvy.
Yeah, okay, because I was like, I'm trying to like look at. I
But
was in my brain. I was trying. So it was 2016. I was trying to. I'm like, okay, which one is it? Because
right.
I
But
yes.
another interesting fact is also when I mentioned I competed in college for Miss Georgia America, Betty and I also competed together at Georgia America. So I competed with Savvy and Betty.
I love Betty. I love Betty. I love Betty. I well, Betty and Cara are probably like, yeah. I mean, my end all be all, my inspiration is Vanessa Williams. That's always been like my end all be all of pageantry to me. She is because I was 18 when she won,
Mm-hmm.
and it really hurt me what I saw happening. That I was so proud to be able to see an African American woman be crowned Miss America, but then to see what they did to her hurt me so bad that that's the reason I competed USA. I didn't compete America because of that. And I feel like I missed out on something by not doing America.
Wow, what state did you compete in?
Florida.
Okay, so you're in Florida. Okay.
Yep, Florida. Well,
Yeah,
because
I mean,
I mean,
I think
I could have been in Michigan because I didn't. I mean, I didn't say when I moved down here, but I competed the second year of Teen USA. Oh God, okay, don't we stop? It was a long time ago, but it was Florida.
you have to tell me. But no, I mean, I think to your point, and what I was saying a little bit earlier, like it's so important to be able to have both of these skills, right? And one of the things I also love about America is it has a strong local base.
Right,
So even though there's no international component, there's a very, very strong local base. So you'll be connected with some of those people possibly for the rest of your life. And those people, will see you grow up, and I've seen people grow up, see who've seen me grow up, and then I've seen young girls who are my princesses who are now competing in Miss. Like it's just crazy how this legacy just keeps going and keeps growing. And I love that about the Miss America organization. I also love that we have these very long interviews, 10 minutes. It really allows you to really get in and know who the person is.
right,
But I also think being able to either speak for a long time or speak for a short time are both skills, right? Some people say, oh, well, it's easier. Well, maybe 3 minutes is not as easier because you now have to consolidate all of who you are in 3 minutes and
right.
be able to make sure you leave that interview room with people knowing exactly who you
And it's
are and hit
hard
off
to be able to make it in just that short amount of time.
exactly. So both of them are equal. And then, some people can say 10 minutes is better, but, you also have to make sure that your story all aligns and you don't
Right.
have like a little phrase here and there that don't quite make sense. So it all adds to the brand, and
Right.
I love both of them.
Yeah, my first time directing, I directed for a local for Texas, USA.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing because I lived in Texas for 10 years, um, and then I was running a charity at the same time that was started by a former Florida America who became a Florida USA. Jenna Edwards, her charity is the 4 Day Foundation. So I ran the Dallas chapter, and because in Texas pageantry is so pageants, like everybody does everything together. I started to become more involved with the America system, and so I mean I had title holders from both all the time, but I started working with a local for America. So um, when I moved to Miami, I became the director for Miami for America, and it didn't have the same feel here in Florida. Texas, it's
Mm-hmm.
family, it is. And for me, like, I still say I'm a Texan even though I was only there for 10 years, but because of that, those
Right.
traditions with Miss America in Texas, and with Miss USA as well, they're both very, very huge. It was cool. It was cool to, and now, like, our new Miss Florida USA here in Florida was Miss Texas America. So Monique
And
Evans was a title holder there, and now she's a title holder. I was like, you go, Monique. There you go.
yes, I love queens who are going after it, and I
I'm
think it's just gonna
telling
be.
you, there's a bunch of you that have done both. So that's going to make for a really interesting year.
I hear that there are 6 who competed at Miss America, but I didn't know about all the local queens as well. And also like Chesley Chris was a former, MAO girl.
The reason that Chesley is Nia's attorney is because they competed together. And she's
Yes,
her attorney for Miss America. Well,
right,
for a
right.
whole nother reason that we will talk about in another show. um,
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
all right, we haven't done anything fun, and it's been way over time. Do you want to do the quick fun questions, or you need to go?
No, sure, whatever you like.
All right. Do you like frogs? Why or why not?
Yes, I love frogs because we need them in our ecosystem, and they're kind of cute.
They are, and I agree. All right. So, do you prefer chocolate or vanilla? Why or why not?
Ooh, chocolate. I love chocolate. I have like a box of Girl Scout cookies that I'm like so
Ooh,
happy.
oh,
Yes, I know. I'm like sparing with them like a little bit every now and then, but yes, I'm just so like I love chocolate. But
moderation. You do the work. You can have the. You can have it.
right, I love chocolate cookies and candy, but I love vanilla ice cream. I don't like
Same.
chocolate.
I'm the same way. I like vanilla ice cream with chocolate on it. So there you go. Okay. Do you prefer interview or evening gown?
Interview. I love to talk. I love to chat with people and get to meet new folks. I'm like my mom will always tell you I've never really met a stranger. I love people. I love to communicate. Like in my free time, I watch interviews. So interviews like my favorite phase of competition.
Okay. So now, I know you said you like swimsuit, but evening gown or swimsuit,
Swimsuit.
and why?
It's easy. You never have to worry about tripping over a dress. But
Oh no, no, you were at Miss Universe this year.
oh, well, that's true. But they
Okay,
were tripping over a tape.
but I will I will say in defense of it, I caught it on video. I caught it on pictures.
Mm-hmm.
There was something on the stage. So the first time that the fall happened, it was not that contestant's fault, and then every time that somebody else fell, it was because there was oil on the stage that did not get cleaned off. So I will just say that. So
Yeah.
okay,
But so generally, when that's not happening, swimsuit is, not the face of competition
slay.
where you're
Did you like
gonna
that? Did you like that add to the swimsuit? By the way.
the cape. Do I like the cape?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it. They did it for Catriona's year too, and I liked it then. And I think it's gonna make you feel like Wonder Woman because you already feel like Wonder Woman,
I
and then you
think
add
it
a cape
looks
and
like totally like a superhero kind of thing. Like, I really liked it. I did. So
I like it too, and it makes you kind of like Yeah, I love it. I hope that we do that in even more like state competitions too. It just gives a little bit more flair.
I agree. See, so for those directors that watch this, we want to see that in the state competition. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know you like to wear your hair natural. Do you like to have it up or down?
I like updo. I love a good updo. I don't do it as much, but I like being able to show, like, as they say, your décolletage or whatnot, and your shoulders and all that. So I love updos.
Ooh. And I like it
Hmm.
was when Kaylee won, I
Hmm.
interviewed her in the morning with her hair naturally in her afro, and it just was amazing curls. And then later
Yeah.
that afternoon, they did her hair with the updo, but they did it in the faux hawk. I was like,
Yes.
"Oh, girl, that is awesome!" I'm so jealous. I want hair like that.
Yes, I love a good mohawk too. I haven't done that in a while, but it's super fun. Like you can do so much. There's so much versatility, and people like think you're limited, but you actually just have a world like of like a playground of all types of natural hairstyles that you can do. So I love it.
I love it. All right. Do you prefer heels or flats?
Whew. Well, I love how a hill looks, but as of late, I've been preferring flats. But no, if I have to go and be fabulous, then certainly a heel.
Well, I mean, I'm saying like everyday stuff. Like you're not running around in heels when you're. Well, I know at the Capitol, most people wear flats and bring heels with them. Yes? No? Am I wrong
That's
about
true.
that?
Here's
Okay.
the catch. If I could find a heel that was comfortable all day, I would wear it because I love heels. But I have not found one, so I have to resort to flats.
You mean tippy tops are not comfortable all day long? What are you talking about?
I do not even own those. Those are just like I don't know. Heels are enough for me. And no shade to anyone who loves a tippy top, but I prefer being a
I,
little bit closer to
I'm okay with being the short person looking up at the 6 foot something tall title holder going, it's okay, you be up there. The most,
yes.
one of the most, the first time it was an awareness for me, I interviewed Catherine Hike.
Hmm.
She's 15 years old, and I'm literally going, so tell me about with I mean like it was literally like this, me holding the microphone up going, so tell me about. I'm like, oh
That's
no.
so funny, but it's so true. I mean, even in my top five, a lot of my pageant sisters had tippy tops on, and I, like I mentioned, don't wear tippy tops. So it looks like I'm super, super short. And I'm like, no, like when we take all our shoes off, we're actually kind
Everybody's
of
same
generally.
height.
I
Kenzie's
just don't wear tippy tops.
Kenzie, like I said, is one of our longtime followers, and she contributes. She says, Converse heels. That's what we should have. Converse heels.
That would be so comfortable.
I think that's it. All right, so I'm gonna ask another question that she likes the answer. Do you prefer sweats or dress?
Oh my goodness! If you had said sweatpants, I would have said sweats. But a dress, I love dresses. Like they're just so much fun. They're easy to put on in the morning, and you don't have to find something that matches the top and the bottom. Like you kind of just go. So I love a good dress. And this totally makes me sound like a girly girl, but there was totally a phase in my life where I was a tomboy. Like I played basketball, I was in JROTC, and I would have always said sweats, always said flats. Probably would have said a ponytail for my hair, like
I was
But
that girl,
we
but
both.
see now Kenzie just made the statement. She says, "How about sweats under a dress?" Because now she's decided she's going to start her own trend of sweats underneath it.
If you go to, so my director, we have Nice and Wonderful. I'm under Nice and Wonderful Productions.
Uh-huh.
If you go to my very first photo shoot, I literally have on my opening number dress, some like tights or sweats, and some sneakers. And you can see like from the top up, I'm like all glamorous, and then from the bottom, I have on like sweats and sneakers. So
Me,
if I can
every
do both,
single interview. No one only sees me up here, but I'm not. Well, today I'm not. But normally I'm wearing my sweats underneath it because I'm like, why? Be comfortable. So, okay, all right,
right?
all right. And then So, okay, so this is a bad question, but you don't have to answer if you don't want to. America or USA?
Oh, I can't choose. And right now, honestly, I know people are going to ask me that, but I still haven't competed in Miss USA yet. So it wouldn't even be right to choose yet because I wouldn't know the full experience.
That is
But right
such
now,
a
like both.
good answer.
Yeah, people were asking like which one do I like the most. I said I can't say yet. I haven't gone to Miss USA yet. I haven't really gone through the process fully. So I have to complete the year, and then I'll be able to have a better understanding of how I feel about both.
But you've had fun so far, right?
Yes, I've been crowned for, I guess today will be 4 weeks.
Yeah, I was
So
like literally just right around the corner. Oh my gosh.
yes, but it's
And
gonna be a good year.
it's gonna be good. I'm
Yeah.
super excited about this year. I'm super excited because I think we have a really phenomenal. You guys are super talented. It's gonna be a really great year. It's great representation. I'm so psyched.
Um, and I
So,
think it's balance that.
how's the group chat going? You guys already have the group chat, right?
We do have a group chat. We're not as chatty, but we do have a group chat.
Oh, Kenzie says blue or red Jolly Ranchers. Where did that come from, Kenzie?
Red. Because that
Uh,
way your mouth's not blue afterwards.
yeah, well, but the red is really red. Then it looks like.
Well, I'd rather go with red and red lips and all that jazz than like blue
Then
and
you
everyone.
don't have to wear anything on your lips. So there you go. Okay. Thanks, Kent. All right. Is there anything we haven't chatted about that you want to be able to add to this?
I'm super excited. I mean, this year I'm excited about being able to encourage young women and girls to run for political office. Having worked in the White House and being the only person in my class to serve the chief of staff's office as their communications intern. But I'm equally also excited to be able to encourage people to be authentic, to be a singer, and to use a lot of my appearances to share my talent. I not only did I work in the White House, I sang in the White House too. So being able to have
Did
these
you sing for
incredible.
President Obama?
No, I sang so during the Christmas season. They
Uh,
opened up the White House,
yeah.
all the Christmas decorations, and they had the Council Rock orchestra from Council Rock, Virginia. And they invited me to come out and sing just a little bit of "Oh Holy Night" for like their Christmas Carol vibe with them, and I just thought it was great, and that was my experience singing at the White House. So it was incredible. I loved it, and I love to be able to like use both talents. Like in the time that I was, kind of that era of the Obamas, I was able to work in the White House. I was able to sing in the White House. And First Lady Michelle Obama shared my story as a military kid in her Joining Forces campaign and on her Instagram. So being able to kind of be fully engaged in seeing the different sides of the Obamas is incredible.
Oh, that makes me. Oh, like I want so much to meet them. I'm so inspired by them. That's got to be the coolest thing ever.
They're so cool. My favorite White House experience was honestly the Easter egg roll. Just because it was the first time that I saw Beyonce in person. I saw like Blue Ivy, and I love like seeing their daughters. It was so cool because it's very, very casual. Like this is technically their backyard, so the daughters are just kind of walking around, and you're just a volunteer because you're an intern, so you have
Right.
your outfit on. And you just walk by, and there's Malia, there's Sasha, and it's just like, oh hey, like how you doing? Or, and it's so casual. But it's so much fun, and I will never forget those White House days. It's definitely one of my fondest memories. And for all the interns out there, I remember right before I interned in the White House, I told people like, "This is my last internship. I've worked on Capitol Hill. This is it for me." And then the White House was like, "Do you want to intern?" And I was like, "Okay, of
Yeah,
course."
you think? Oh man.
So never say never. Never say it's your last. Like for all those pageant girls who say they're going to retire, that next competition might be the one. And even for me, kind of speaking on retirement, so many people say like, "Oh, I'm retired. I'm done." And when I was at Miss America, everyone was like, "Oh, this is my last competition." And I remember like being backstage, like, "Wait, what? Like last competition? How is that possible?" And it was just because I had been working and focusing so hard on competing for Miss America, I didn't even realize that this could technically be the end of a finish line for some people.
Right.
But I feel like it was that for me. So competing for Miss USA felt so genuine to me because I felt like it was something that I needed to do, and I always still had a desire to compete. I never, retired from pageants. I never made any statements of retirement. I always was wanting to compete again. And I just didn't. Well, I felt like I wasn't ready to stop competing. So because I felt like I wasn't ready to stop competing, I guess I was going to compete again. But I'm so happy that I did because I would have regretted it if I didn't. And it was very hard to make the transition. And to your point about the differences and the chasm that kind of was created between America and USA, that's still very present, in some places. And it
Right.
makes it very hard for some American girls to want to compete for
Right.
USA.
Or they've been threatened not to.
In some ways, like some people just strongly discourage them to. But you just have to be very like
I just think it's
strong.
absurd.
I mean, but it is absurd, but I think more than anything, it limits you, right? I don't want to be limited in anything in my life. If I want an opportunity to compete for Miss USA or Miss Universe, I want to be able to do that. So, um, I encourage people to compete, and I encourage people to keep competing for as much as they feel they need to. Because for me, some people said, "Oh, well, you've already been Miss DC. Why would you want to be Miss DC USA?" But there's more that I have to offer. There's more that I have to give. When I first competed, my platform was military kids and children. Now my platform is encouraging women to run for political office. The very reason I decided to move to DC almost 5 years ago. So it is something that's super important to me, to encourage young women, whoever, to keep competing if you want to,
Right.
because no one defines, like, when you're done, and when you still want to compete. And I
You
don't
don't know
think,
when you're done.
well, that's true, but you can feel it. When it's time to at least take a step back, right?
The
And I
first
just
time
feel,
I retired was 35 years ago.
oh
And
wow.
then I competed. Then I went on, did did my first couple of years of college, fell in love, got married, and then went, "Oh, let me be a missus." And then
Right, and then
again took a break and said, "I'm done. That's it. I just needed to do that." And then I got cancer and I went, "Okay, that's it. I had a dream. I want a pageant. Let me do that." I didn't win my first national until I was 36.
wow.
But I started competing when I was 16, but I've retired almost almost as many times as I've had a title. That's not true, but there's something unique about the pageant experience that offers opportunities that change people's lives, not in a monetary way, but in a personal way, in a heart way, in a service way that is unlike nothing else except, I think, public service. I mean, it is a
Right.
form of public service, and
It's great, and it's also, to your point, it's a great, um, like, kind of building ground for people who want to be in public office.
right,
I know that many people may see that, but I see it clear as day. A
I
lot of
do
the
too.
same, trails that we walk as pageant women are the same trails that politicians walk. And I've seen many politicians in my daily, years of service, like on my day to day, that I also see, um, in pageants, and I'll see them in politics too. So I see that same trend. And if you're able to succeed in pageants, I know certainly you'll be able to succeed in politics. It's just a different subject matter,
Right,
but the skills that you're learning are exactly the same.
girl, I can't wait to vote for you for president.
Thank you. Thank you. One day, who knows? Whatever God has for me, God has already
Whatever
blessed.
that plan is, but I can see that, like, at the every you kept talking and I said, this woman could, and I don't want to say you're going to be our first black female president, because
Oh
God,
yeah.
please let us have that way before you turn 35, please,
Yeah.
please.
I was thinking we were gonna have our first female president a long time ago, but we're still working on that one. But we just got to keep chipping away at that glass ceiling. It's gonna happen.
I don't know. The primary told us something different on Tuesday. We'll see what happens. It was kind of a shock for people. So
But I think still, like, we're, especially even if it's not this election, I think it'll happen sometime very soon. I think it's also so crazy.
because there's
Just
four
another side.
78-year-old men running for the same job. What is that all about? We need to have some new blood. Please, no offense to everybody. Please, please.
Yeah, some young people. Yeah, I mean, I from Running Start, the program I mentioned to you. I also was the ambassador for that program, and so for a year in that role, I also was the ambassador for She Should Run, another nonprofit that encourages women to run for political office. But with Running Start, they're attached to an organization called WOOFPAC, which is Women Under 40, and they encourage a lot of young women and girls to run before they're 40. So a lot of my fellow colleagues are going to run before they're 40. And I think it's, or at least attempt to, right? And I think that that's something that's super pivotal because it helps us start to build experience sooner, and it kind of combats that 78-year-old man always being in the top spot for leadership. It allows us to have even more women kind of going through,
Well,
the
and
reins
this
to
is the oldest we've ever had a president. Like
right.
the oldest president we've ever had, but Kenzie goes 78-year-olds. There are
Mm-hmm.
4 78-year-old men that are now currently vying both with the Republican Party and the Democratic Party for the title of president, possibly in November. Do you
Right,
want a bunch of 78-year-old men making a decision for you? Or do you want to
right.
elect somebody that's going to make changes for our country? And Mackenzie, you're 18 years old. Please go out and vote and make sure your friends go out and vote because millennials have the opportunity to change our country and it needs to happen. Period.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And I think a lot of times we're afraid of what the future will be. But I've been had the opportunity to encourage and train and support a lot of young women. And I know that by meeting them, we're going to be just fine. They are on fire. You know
I
what I
love
mean?
it.
Like they're really ready.
I love
And
it.
I am blessed to know them, happy to be a part of their journey, and can't wait to see what the future looks like, for my children, for so many others. But I'm excited to be a part of the future right now.
Kenzie just wrote, wait, I'm 18. Do I have to start paying attention to politics? Yes, you do, because you can change what happens in this country and it needs to happen. And it needs to start with you.
Yes,
Go
yes, yes.
out and vote. I don't care who you vote for, but use your voice because you have that opportunity to do it.
That's right. That's right. So
So,
definitely, and I want to be able to continue throughout my year to be able to go to different schools and have like little sessions and breakout sessions where I teach people about politics, teach them how to run for office, let them vote for their fellow classmates and vote for who they think is going to win. These are the ways that we really get people engaged, having them talk about the issues that are in their school and vote on the candidates who are their classmates and vote and kind of be a part of that voting process and
and
what
learn
that looks.
about,
Yeah, because when they learn about that, then they'll begin to learn about what it looks like in the real world when they're voting and being parts of campaigns and building a team and all that. I think it'll be really great.
that was one of the title holders that came out a couple of weeks ago was actually in she's from Iowa and
Mm-hmm.
she was the caucus the in charge of her caucus for her area. So she actually talked about the caucus process before the Iowa caucuses went on, and I thought it was so important that people start to understand how important these decisions are and how because the process, I'm sorry, is antiquated and there needs to be some kind of a change, but that's
Yeah.
okay. We've been in an hour and a half. I'm sorry to keep you going. So maybe we'll have another. You'll
Thank
come
you so
back
much.
on and come back on and talk about it. Like, I mean, I would love to have you come on before the elections and talk about. Let's
Yeah,
talk once we get candidates. Let's talk about it for real.
yeah, I would love that. I mean, I think it's so funny. Every year that I've won Miss DC or DC America or USA, it's been during an election year. And I always am crowned on like a very cultural holiday. So when I was crowned Miss DC America, it was in 2016 on Juneteenth. And then when I was crowned Miss DC
Oh,
USA, I was crowned on MLK weekend in 2020. So it's a lot of cool like similarities that I begin to see.
oh
So
my
it's been
God!
a
I got all goose pimply. That's like, girl, we gotta get you a national crown. Mm.
love.
No
Listen,
offense to
God.
all of my other USA because I love you guys. You know I love you, but any
It
one
would
of
be
you.
God, God willing, God willing. I mean, honestly, for me, more than anything, my goal is to move forward as best as I can, achieving my best presentation of excellence, right?
Right.
And whatever I can do to be my absolute best on that stage is what I'll do. And when the time comes, if God sees that it's fitting for me, bless me not once, not twice, or a gazillion times, but this third time on this in this way, in this
Right.
competitive pageant way, it would just be a blessing, and I would be more than grateful to be able to have a role like that. But I will always, give it up to God for even putting those talents in me in the first place to hold a title like that and then bless so many other people with the talents that God's given me. So I'm grateful either way. But I'm super excited and happy to go compete for Miss USA and hopefully Miss Universe.
May you pave the way for many other women, and may you walk in the steps of other Miss DC USA title holders to
Thank you so much.
whatever your destiny is.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that more
Hold
than you
tight.
know.
Let me wrap it. To find you, and I put everything on here so
Oh
they can
yeah,
see you. Miss DC
yes, you can.
USA, and then Cierra D Jackson. So if they want
Right.
to stalk you, is there any place else they can stalk you?
Yes, you can go to my website, sierrajackson.com. And also, like I said, I have Sierra's Corner, which is launching all the digital platforms March 2020. You can go to at Sierra's underscore corner on Instagram and follow me there. I'll be posting a lot of cool content, and you'll be able to see we're having a prom dress giveaway this prom season. I'm giving away 3 dresses, so there's 3 ways to win. And then also some prom pop-up shops coming up. So definitely stay tuned for that.
I love you. Kenzie's already putting into chat. She putting exactly what you wrote, so she puts it in chat so everybody can find you. You are the best,
Yeah,
Kenz. It's like having a co-pilot when I do the shows. It's awesome.
like a personal assistant.
Yeah, unofficial, but she might as well be. I talk to her more than I talk to some of my friends. So, all right,
But
hold,
thank you so much for having me. I
hold.
really appreciate taking the
Thanks so
time.
much. Hold it tight. Don't hang up. I'm going to tag you out for just a second. Let me wrap up really quick, okay? All right. Thanks so much for being on. Hold on just a second here.
Mhm.
All right, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the process. If you're watching this on replay, we appreciate it. Like the page so you can get the notifications when we go live. We've got amazing title holders coming on and sharing their stories of positivity and pageantry. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube. Be kind to one another, please. We need more kindness in this world. And that's a wrap, everybody. I'll see you guys Tuesday night. I think it's 8 o'clock. We're having Miss Connecticut Teen USA on, and I'll see you guys then. Bye, guys. Thanks.